Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is my enrolled agent journey. This is getting my Prepare Taxpayer Identification Number, my Prometric sign up, and then going ahead and starting the review course. So my disclaimer and copyright notice: the information and opinions in this presentation are those of the author only, and not the author's employers or affiliated organizations, including but not limited to Irvine Valley College and the South Orange County Community College District. The presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. This presentation is copyright 2008 to, I magically changed the date to 2020 by Bennett Tchaikovsky. I encourage you to share this presentation on an unmodified basis. If you wanted to modify the presentation, please contact me prior to doing so to discuss. I do not claim any copyright whatsoever in any companies or organizations mentioned in this presentation. Rather, the other parties are the owners of their own respective copyrights. So one of the things was, as I mentioned in the previous video, that I actually did make a mistake in applying for my Prepare Taxpayer Identification Number. If I say that enough times, I'll finally get it. But I was actually able to get the PTIN. This is so critical, and just to kind of see what this is again, is right over here. You'll have to go through here and create this. When I look at my account, because I'm already a licensed CPA and attorney, I was able to link those up with my particular licenses. Okay, so once you schedule this with the IRS, you'll then need to, so once you have been accepted, you'll receive the 9-digit PTIN, and then you'll be able to go to Prometric. So with Prometric, when you register at the Prometric website, you will then need to verify your email address, and let's go ahead and just check that out. So with Prometric, this is really a place where you will go and this is where you're going to take your Special Enrolled Agents Examination, or the SEE exam, or the Enrolled Agents exam. So right over here, if you go to Test Acres, I can say find my exam. And if I type in right over here, I've got Enrolled Agent. I can hit go. And IRS Special Enrollment Examination. So I'll go over here, and then I can go over here and say Site Openings List. Okay, and let's go back over here and see what else we can find. So over here, I can go through over here and take a look, and I can go hit confirm. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to kind of log out of this real quick so you can kind of see where how I did this. So I've got, these are like my my exams can be found right here. So this is my Prometric account. For privacy reasons, I'm not going to be showing you my actual test dates. But what you're going to be doing here is that what I can do is so with Prometric, is that you schedule your 3 exams, which is going to be the individual's business and procedures. And in addition to that, what I can also do too is I can do a test drive. And the test drive is actually free. And so what I can do here is I can say that, okay, right over here, if I require any kind of accommodations, so I'm going to go to the next screen right over here. And the test drive is actually going through, and it is free. I go at I consent. Okay. So I'm not pre-approved for any kind of testing accommodations. The one I want to look at is the Irs Test Drive. There's nothing else really available to me because I've already scheduled my other exams. And so now this is telling me, well, where I can go through, and so I'll enter in my zip code. And I'll go ahead and start a date of, we'll do August 12th. And we'll go through. Let's see here, why is this not? Go through here, December. Also, let me do August. We'll go August 26th. We'll see what's around. So going to do a test drive would really just be if I want to kind of check it out and see what's going on. So let's say if I do August 15th, and it will give me a time here, I can come in, we'll say 8:30, well, we'll say noon. Okay, so right over here, we'll go to next. And so this would be giving me my appointments. There's no fee. Wow, this is like great. And then it would say complete appointment. So if I want to, I could actually go in and see how this would kind of go through and work out. So when you schedule your enrolled agent exams, it's kind of the same process and procedure, and then you'll be having to pay the relative fee once you're checking out. So that's how you do the enrollments. So this is how I went through over here and did my actual with Prometric. This is how I scheduled my exams. So I've got a few weeks before my first test, and then my business will be in early December, and then I'll be scrambling for the very last one. So while my students are studying for their finals, I'll be suffering along with them. So let's take a look at Gleim and see what's happening there. So this is the Gleim website, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. And wow, my Chrome actually worked this time. Okay, so here I am, and I'm not slacking off that badly. I've actually done, I actually did these while sitting around and waiting for an appointment. So I've actually kind of gone through and I've actually done like a little bit of work, but let's go ahead and just kind of start up the filing requirements part. So I'll go ahead and say filing requirements. Actually, let's go to gross income, see what that one looks like. So I'll go ahead and start SU2, study unit 2. And so what this will do is that if this quiz will set the baseline for my individualized path. They recommend we answer all the questions in this quiz, even if we don't feel we're going to be performing well. This is not going to be affecting me at all, but really the important thing is that you want to, before you take any type of test, and almost all the review courses will do this, especially today's, which is pretty great, which is when I was going through and taking my CPA exam and bar exam, it was all pencil and paper. So it's more of like a manual process. But what they're going to do first is they're going to essentially set up your baseline. So let's go ahead and check this out. So I'll show you a question or two. So the following statements about dividends received from a dividend reinvestment plan are true, except for reinvested dividends are taxable and are added to the basis of the stock or the mutual fund. Reinvested dividends are not taxable if not removed from the plan. Okay, so that's not true. Reinvested dividends are treated as ordinary dividends. That sounds good. Reinvested dividends are taxable in the year paid. That's also true. Reinvested dividends are taxable. So I think that the one that I want to choose here is going to be reinvested dividends are not taxable if not removed from the plan, because all the statements are true except, so this is something you want to be careful about the wording. Okay, so I'm going to go to, I'm now 3% through. They're going to give me a total of 20 diagnostic questions. Let's go to the next one. Okay, income in respect of a cash basis decedent. What is this over here? So covers income earned before the taxpayer's death, but not collected until after death. That sounds good. Receives a stepped up basis in the decedent's estate. That really wouldn't be true for income. Must be included in the final the decedent's final income tax return. Cannot receive capital gain. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna do right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause and I'll mess up on a bunch of these questions and I'll get back to you shortly. So over here, so this is my my results in terms of how did I do on my diagnostic test. And the way I actually had prepared for this is I actually went through and read the chapter, but clearly there's some issues that I still have. So, and what's kind of cool about this is that it will show you right over here is that, so this is how long it took me to complete the 28 questions, about 15 minutes. The number of questions answered, average time per question, and I got a 75%. And what's kind of cool is that this will actually break down which areas I did better on and I did less on, so that I can kind of go through and focus on what I need to do. So clearly I'm okay on income from securities. On gross income, I'm almost there, but it looks like I do need to do a little bit more work in terms of interest income, income in respect of a decedent, and then royalties and rental income. So I'm going to go ahead and pause right over here. So this is now telling me, you know, which one did I choose? So right over here, income in respect of a cash-based decedent. Answer C is incorrect. And I want to see what the, let's see here. Answer B, oh, this is kind of cool. So now it tells me, okay, covers income earned before the taxpayer's death, but not collected until after death. So that's helpful. Here's another one over here too. So Sam, a degree candidate at UCF. So at the following education-related expenses. And so this is going to allow me to try to figure out, and the only amount, which is how much income must Sam report. And so what they're saying over here is, well, it provides an exclusion for gross income for amounts received as a scholarship or fellowship grant, but only amounts provided and actually used for tuition, fees, books, and supplies and equipment qualify for the exclusion. So room and board does not qualify. So I need to do a little bit more work on this. So I'll go ahead and hit end review, or I'll just go ahead and pause. I want to see what else I missed. So I'm just coming back here to this quiz in terms of the questions that I missed. And one of the ones that I'm looking at, like right over here, what's kind of cool about this is, so this was a question regarding, so this was somebody who is a US citizen and asking about their foreign income exclusion. And what's nice about the way that this is set up, it's telling me the correct answer. But then when I look it over here, it's telling me why my answer was incorrect. The other thing, which is kind of cool about this, is it does also have a calculator. So that's also kind of helpful too. So now that I've gone through over here, and so now it's basically telling me what I should be doing. So it's saying, you know, we recommend that you read the sections of the digital book for a deeper understanding of your weak areas. So let's just check this out real quick. So this is kind of cool because now it's basically saying, okay, Bennett, this is really where you have to kind of look at a little bit more carefully or closely in terms of the various different areas that you have to go through and do. And let's see why they're giving me this recommended action. Okay. So let's just go over here and just try to check this out real quick. So start 2.1. And then this is over here. This is the study unit 2 within this section. So this is one of their outlines. And uh-oh. Okay. So that's, I'm going to end it there for today. So that's kind of how, and the other part over here too for Gleim. And I did show you kind of how this works, but let's go over and see back over here in terms of, let's go to our EA review menu and let's go to our study planner. Okay, so I am behind schedule. So what this is doing here is that when I started up my study planner, and let's just kind of go through and take a look here. So I need to kind of get caught up in terms of exam rehearsal. So this is giving me a whole plan here in terms of what I need to be going through and doing. So it's just keeping me on this first part right over here in terms of what I need to go through and do. The other thing that the review course will also do too is that I'm getting notifications if I haven't done a particular, if I'm behind or if I have not done a particular part. So you can also get, you'll also be receiving other messages in terms of like, oh, you need to, go through and to review this. So in any event, that is my journey so far. I'll check in with you occasionally in terms of what's happening. But I want to thank you for watching my video today. If you have any questions or comments, please send them over to 1812cpa@gmail.com, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a great one.